Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Noise, where we try to get past the surface rhetoric, the surface info, and we try to get right down into the information that we can use, something that can help us, something that is important to our audience and our topics. We good to go, Miss P, because I'm about to introduce Miss P over here on the ones and twos. It's so good to see you. Usually we have the round-faced Mexican girl with us, and she is in place. She is at a satellite remote location taking care of the opposite side of the world with this broadcast. But other than that, we have Miss P with us on the ones and twos. Miss P, how we doing today?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. It has been a little bit, and I finally get a chance to get one of my favorite people on the show. I get to have a phenomenal athlete on the show, and one of the youngest guests that I've had on the show. We have a young man who has been a football enthusiast and fanatic. Not only is he a great player, he is an awesome young man. I have watched him grow and volunteer and teach and help with youngsters, and even when he was a loud, aggressive, rambunctious young brat running around wondering why he couldn't get one or two drills right, he always pushed past it. He was always respectful, and now he has grown into a very fine young gentleman. He is a junior now at Eaton High School, and he is on the varsity team as a strong safety, free safety, and a kick returner. He ended up being all district for his performance this year on the gridiron as a varsity starter, and he is definitely being looked at by multiple schools around the United States of America. Today, I have the privilege of hanging out with one of the best young men I know, one Mr. Ben Roberts. Ben, how are you today, good sir?
I'm good today.
Now you're a little nervous about that intro.
Yeah,
now you feel like you got to live up to something. Big Ben, why don't you tell the people how long we've known each other?
Since I was 6, so 10, 11 years.
So we're running towards 11. You got a birthday coming up too,
I
don't
do.
you? Yeah, when's your birthday?
February 28th.
So I got a birthday coming up the week before. So, we've been knowing each other for quite some time. So I literally have had a chance to see this young man grow up into what you see today. And today I want to talk to Ben about transitions in school and how you see things now versus how things were just a year ago. So, Ben, tell us about your Pee Wee football journey to varsity ball.
Well, so I guess I'll start at the beginning. I started football when, going into first grade because I liked the uniforms.
The color or what? Or what it fit or what?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a football player. I wanted, Halloween.
Yeah, no doubt.
First play, first time I scored a touchdown, was not touched all the way to the end zone. That's when I fell in love. And through my journey, I've been multiple different positions. I've played defensive end, middle linebacker, outside linebacker, safety, running back, quarterback, and receiver. And my whole middle school career, I started as a running back, but I was the only one that could throw the ball well. So I was a quarterback.
Yeah.
And as that went along, I started to feel the pressure that I needed to be the quarterback at the high school level. And I guess that wasn't the path for me because my freshman year, I had tendonitis in my heel.
Yeah.
And I was out for the first 2 weeks. So they gave the starting job to the second string guy. And when I got back, I was still playing both sides of the ball, safety and quarterback. I was only playing safety. I never got in at quarterback.
Right.
And right before they were about to put me in against Southlake my freshman year, during walkthroughs, the day of the game, someone rolled up my ankle.
How is it even possible?
I couldn't tell you, man. So I'm 30 seconds later after they roll it up, it's all swollen up. And
right.
I'm like, well, I guess I'm not playing this game. And that I only had 2 more games left in my freshman year. So no quarterback freshman year. And then I started during the summer working on my feet, going to you, figuring out really what I wanted to do. You asked me multiple times, and we had deep conversations about it.
Yeah.
And it turned out that safety was what was meant for me, and it fit me the best. And so my sophomore year, I worked hard. I did everything the coach told me to do.
Mhm.
I got a couple reps in varsity my sophomore year, so I got a little varsity film my sophomore year
Right.
playing safety. And then this year, I was the varsity starting safety, and I was the man that everyone was looking to for help on the field.
Okay, let me ask you a question, because you said you played a whole bunch of different positions when you was a young cat. Did you play any other sports?
I did. I played baseball and basketball. I think I wrestled a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that wraps up all of that.
So let me ask you too then. Did any of those other positions that you played help you understand another position, or actually the position that you're playing now? Like for you being a quarterback, being a running back, being a linebacker, defensive end. At that young age, just knowing you just run around tackling people. Now, do you think those multiple positions or multiple stances or multiple opportunities to see the field a different way is helping you today?
Definitely, because I understand where, like, I've played all over the defensive side of the ball, so I understand where everyone on the defensive side of the ball should be on certain plays and where I should be to help them. And then from my quarterback view, I understand what a quarterback is looking for when he's throwing the ball, when he's going through his progressions, what he's reading, and things like that. So yeah, definitely, different positions have helped me.
So how do you playing those different positions and then understanding where those people are supposed to be? How is that helping you pre-snap? Like, how is that? It's one thing to know where somebody's supposed to be, but how is that helping you pre-snap or even during the play?
Pre-snap, it helps me because I know my threats. I know who can do what on the field, who's gonna help me and who's not gonna help me. So I know where I can I don't know, help towards a certain side of the field or help towards another side of the field. And then post snap,
Yep.
it helps because it's all like the image that I had pre snap is all coming to play.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's coming to play, I know that I did my pre snap job right.
Gotcha. So if we're taking those multiple opportunities or multiple experiences on the field, going into let's go back to your freshman year where you were trying to figure out if you were playing quarterback or if you were going to play safety. What do you like about the game more? Like, what do you like about the game that pushed you on the defensive side of the field?
Well, I felt like on offense, especially with our high school style of play calling and things like that, I felt it was more strict and more fixed, if that makes sense.
Explain. What do you mean?
Like when I say fixed, I mean like I'm given a play, so I run that play. But like I feel like on defense, yes, they're still giving me plays, but there's more freedom to it, more air or more area to float in.
Yeah.
To make adjustments to yourself. So I do know that they give us best coverages, and we'll call our best coverages. But there have been a couple of times in games that they've given me a best coverage, but they've trusted me enough and my knowledge of the team that we're playing that they'll let me change the coverage.
Gotcha. So you say you fell in love with the game early on. Do you still love it like you used to?
More every day.
Why is that?
Because I understand that the game is not like I'm not going to be able to play it for my whole life. So I understand that each rep and each play that I get to play it, it's more meaningful to me.
What do you mean? What is our purpose for doing it anyway?
The purpose of doing it?
Yeah, like if it's that meaningful, like what do you mean by that?
Well, because I'm learning life lessons every day while I'm doing it, and it's meaningful because, I mean, that's kind of a tough question because
I'm good at that.
I mean, it's something that I've always loved. So to understand that I'm not gonna always have it it's easier to, I don't know, like to understand that I'm not always gonna have it. It's easier to appreciate it more.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know exactly what you mean,
exactly.
man. It's almost like, there's one day it'll end. You just don't know there's an end date. With that, you still aspire to play. You want to play in college, correct?
Correct.
That's a goal of yours. How do you plan? Is there a plan to go along with that goal? Right here, I'm with Ben Roberts, and we're talking about middle school, high school, and now we're trying to find out what direction we want to go when we get to college. And of course, this young man wants to play football for somebody's university, and I think he should. And I know he's very well deserving of it because he is a big-time football player here. But he loves the game, so he's trying to get to the next level of the game. How long you been wanting to play college ball, Big Ben?
I think probably ever since I learned that college ball was a thing.
You think you're good enough?
Definitely.
Okay. Talk to him. Why do you think that?
Why do I think that?
Yeah.
Because I'm around college level players all the time. I've been able to compete with them, and I've learned from them, and I understand the work that is needed to be a college level player, and I definitely am putting in that work.
That's a fantastic answer because if you know something, you know something. And I'm a big believer in that. Miss P, do you have anybody with any questions, any comments? And if Grandmama is online,
Grandma
make sure you
is
tell her I
on.
said hello.
Yes, Grandma Carol is watching. I will send her a message that you say hello.
Please do, please do. What else? Anybody else? I know we've been here. We haven't been here very long, but Ben has said some very powerful stuff because I want to talk about this love and how we plan on getting to college according to this gift that God has given us. So what else you got over there, Miss P?
That's all I got right now.
Okay.
That's it so far.
Awesome. All right. So, good sir, you believe you got a chance to play in college. Was this your first year starting varsity, or were you started a year before?
This was my first year starting.
How'd that feel?
It was great, but it felt very similar to starting on JV or starting as a freshman. Not necessarily because the skill was the same, but
Yep.
because I think because the year before I got to get in I got reps on varsity, and I was able to understand the speed, and the game has definitely slowed down for me this year. So I think it's more the speed of the game has slowed down for me, and I understand that I've been playing with these kids my whole life, kids this size, they're all the same age as me. Why can't it just be the same thing?
Absolutely. That's a fantastic answer, man. And I think about that too. But we were talking before we got started, before we even started with the interview, we were talking about building a team. So this past season was you guys' first season as a playoff team. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you were a part of quite a few first aid, and this was the first time you guys won a playoff game, correct?
Correct.
And this was you guys, 2 rounds deep in the playoffs?
3 rounds deep.
3 rounds deep, as a matter of fact, in the playoffs. And this was the most wins you've had in the season as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, and we talk about a lot of first or number ones, and the things that we're talking about now being is, like we said before, you can be number one at a lot of things, but you can only be first at one thing. So have you guys as a team or as a staff, coaches collectively talked to you guys about the things that you actually accomplished this year?
I don't think that there's been a big sit down and talk about it, but definitely there has been, hey, we're the best so far in NISD history, the first in NISD history to go this far in a 6A
playoffs. Yeah. So you guys are actually writing history, all while living in the middle of a historic time.
Exactly.
How is school? And when I say how is school, let's do a school comparable now. When I was in school, it was high fives and headbutts all up and down the aisle. You know, it was school as far as we know it, and there was a lot of camaraderie, and we built a lot of friendships and companionships, and teams are built like that through sitting together and fellowship. And you have been a part of that as you go up. But now you're in the middle of history. So let's talk about how is school now in comparison to, 18 months ago? And then how does that dynamic change a team?
Well, so first off of school, I think I should start at when school stopped last year around spring break.
Right.
So we went on spring break. we're on our way back from our trip, and we get this call that spring break's been extended another week. Okay, cool. I mean, I love break. And then it's like, okay, it got extended another week,
Right.
and then another week, and then it's, hey, we're gonna finish the school year online, and we're gonna have pass fail. So like, as long as you get a passing grade, you get 100 in the class, you get an A.
Mm.
If you fail, you get a 0. You fail, or no, you get a 69 in the class. You fail. So that was definitely weird, and very easy to get through school.
Right.
And to be honest, I actually enjoyed it because I spent a lot of time with my friends and building relationships with my friends. But it was, to me, it was just like summer with a little work, like a reading project they gave you.
Right on.
But then when school's about to start up, the first 9 weeks of school we did online. But it was not the pass-fail thing. It was actually
school.
You had to get on a Zoom.
Yeah.
You had to take notes and do tests online, which was very weird to me because I've always been an in-person learner. And taking tests online and being on a video camera, I was like, well, can't I just like take a nap in this period now? Because I get up, and it was weird. It was also weird because I get up in the morning and I go to football practice at the school and then come home to do school.
Yeah.
Which was like, okay, why can't I just stay at school?
Yeah.
But then after the 9 weeks, we started the football season. Normally the football season would start pretty much right away. But so when we get back to school, you have to wear a mask, all that good stuff. And first thing you do, you walk in the halls, and then we have this saying now, fly right. And there's tape down the middle of the hallway that
and you got to hang
and
right.
you have to stay on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's arrows pointing where you need to go, and you can only enter certain classes in certain ways. You got those kids who are rebels who are walking into the crowd because they think that's cool. And then you sit down in your class, and your chairs are in rows. You're 6 feet apart from everybody. You can't get close to your friends and show them a picture on your phone or something, or or chat or be buddies, high five, hug, whatever. And then when class is over, your teacher sprays your desk with some mystery liquid, and you wipe it down.
And then that's a wrap. That's the end of school, and then you go on your merry way.
And then you go to your next class.
Yeah.
And then at lunch, it was weird because you can only sit with a certain amount of people at your table. Normally, it's like you'd have 20 people at a table for 5.
Yeah.
But now it's only 5 people at a table. But during the season, our coach really didn't want us to get quarantined, so he made us sit in the stands.
Yeah.
And so you didn't sit with anybody. You were a loner. So I would say that school was very depressing.
Wow. Because you spent so much time together alone.
Exactly. It was so weird.
How did you listen? I commend all of you young cats. I'm telling you, man, because I know grown-ups that can't sit in their own seat that they call comfortable for 5 minutes without fussing about it. So to have to march to the beat of a drum that you've never heard and to still go out there and perform and practice and things of that nature is commendable. But how do you get through that? Because it is depressing. And how do you bypass those feelings of depression or alone and things of that nature?
Well, it definitely helped, especially like if you were on a sports team, because you were up at school before sun came up, and you left school when the sun went down. So when you're up there, it was still mask on, still abiding by those rules, but there was more. It was more something that you could relate to because you're still doing the same drills. You're still with all the people you hang out with, because most of the time the people you hang out with do the same thing you do.
Right.
So you're still able to like have friends there and do all that stuff. So I'd say that is one of the ways that I bypass that, or going out and getting food with someone after school, or just being able to hang out outside of school definitely helps.
Yeah. That is fantastic, man. We are here with Ben Roberts of Eaton High School Junior, college junior, high school junior, all-district performer, college prospect. I had to get that in order and get that right. You see anything online anybody has to say, Miss Pete?
All right. So Grandma Carol says hello to Greg and Ben.
All right.
Crystal Bell says, hey, it's your cousin Aiden. Super proud of you. And then Grandma Carol again said, "You've been a wonderful influence to Ben, and he really admires you." And then I'm supposed to tell. Let's see. Ben Aiden is watching, and he is mentor to him. Is it to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a comment that I was supposed to tell you that Ben Aiden is watching.
All right.
Yeah.
So now I know you're gonna act right, so you gotta act like you got some sense. So now we're gonna shift from that to how do you build camaraderie on a team? You know, because a lot of times your teammate, for me, it was important that I hung out with the cats that were in my position. You know, and then even through college, it was important that we hung out. It was important that we had an understanding with each other. It was important that we had fights on the field with each other. But then it was off the field. You know, we spent a lot of time collectively as an offense or a defense. And then in a time where everything is spaced out for your own safety or protection for your own position or situation, but you still are alone together. How do you pull off one of the best seasons that you guys ever had? Like, what did you guys do differently or collectively that brought you guys together on game day?
Well, I think to answer that question, I'll have to go back to last year, because last year's team, there was a lot of controversy and a lot of I'd say hate towards each other. A lot of aggression, like
misunderstanding.
It was a lot about I got mine mentality. It's not like, hey, we're gonna work together through this. And we had a little bit of that come up at the beginning of the season, and we had 2 losses because of it. Because of we wanted to yell at the other team, we wanted to get in fights and all this stuff. But I think because that happened, we were able to see, hey, this is where we were wrong. This is what we need to do to fix it. And I'd say to build, like, instead of, like, because of COVID, you can't go hang out together.
Right.
You can't go into the trainer and, you know, hang out, get an ice bath or anything like that. There were a lot of group chats made. A lot of group chats.
Yeah, absolutely.
So definitely a lot of communicating through group chats, sending memes, all that stuff. And then there was a lot more locker room talk.
Word.
Yeah.
So you guys were leaning on each other a little bit more because you kind of understood that everybody was in the same boat.
Definitely.
Okay. So you're watching the world around you, you know, and you're a young mind and you're doing school stuff and you're dealing with life stuff, and you know, you're seeing things online and you're seeing things in social media. How do you sift through that and then stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish when it's so many distractions even within what you're doing?
Well, to be honest, I really don't pay attention to all that controversy that was going on. I was really not paying attention to it because to me it was like, right now at this stage in my life I can't affect it, so why would I put my nose in it and try to say something when I know it's not gonna do anything about it, especially at this age.
What makes you that? What? That is a very, very mature way to look at anything in life. Why ain't you nosy?
Well, I mean, I was raised, you know, don't
Be
butt
nosy.
into someone's conversation. Like, keep it to yourself.
Yeah. But continue. So I'm hearing you.
So like, I didn't feel the need that, hey, I need to go say something about what's going on right now, and I'm going to change the world because I said this. I felt like, okay, that's going on. There are people in this world that are supposed to fix it. They get paid to fix this. So I'm going to focus on my craft. I'm going to focus on myself and my team. That's pretty much how I got through that.
That makes so much sense. So in the sense you were a little bit selfish because you understood that it was going to be for the greater good. So how much extra work did you do on your craft, and what kind of things are you doing that gave you a chance to be an all-district performer? And don't just tell me work hard, because there are a bunch of safeties in the great state of Texas, and many of them can play. And when you're up at a higher level than most, or when you're playing and competing against the better or the best players in your level, how do you get an edge? What is it that keeps you having that ability when there's so much exposure for really good players out here today?
It's definitely just, a couple of college coaches have asked me that same question, and my answer is always the same. It's always little things, because I can go out and run 100 hundreds or 50 40s and all that stuff, but I feel like if I forget my little things, my stance, my T-steps, my read steps, just the little things, the little movements, taking care of my body, if I forget that, I'll lose everything. I'll be stuck trying to go fast when I can't get past first gear.
What do you mean by that? Explain that. Break that down. Stuck trying to go fast and you can't get past first gear. What do you mean?
Like if you're in a manual and you put the car in first gear and you're flooring it, it's gonna make a lot of noise,
but
it's not gonna do anything. But
Yeah.
if I have the little things and I can get past first, second, third, fourth gear, I'll be making a lot of noise and going fast.
I can dig it. I understand what you're saying. So when you are working on those little things, what do they lead to? How does that equate in the weight room? How does that equate on the field? How does that equate when you're watching?
To me, it's kind of like opening little doors. So like the other day when we were focusing on running, like the basics of running and understanding angles of it, it was opening little doors for me. So like I can do this so that I can do this. Like
Right.
I put myself in first gear. So hey, is there another gear? Hey, there's second gear.
So it opens up. It's like this does this for this. So now I can do this. And we were talking about the angles of running and all those little things. So how does that? This is a great conversation. So how do you take those things and then make them react and make them work in the moment on game day?
Doing it over and over again, understanding when it's necessary and when you need to do it. And to me, on game day, I'm not thinking, I'm just doing because I've done them over and over and over and over again.
When did that change? When did you go from thinking to doing?
After my first varsity game, my sophomore year, we played Name It Forest. I was freaking out because that game I actually started as a sophomore. We killed them. I didn't do anything the whole game.
What do you mean? You just out there watching, huh?
I was focusing so hard on, okay, I gotta read step, I gotta back pedal, I gotta T-step. I was tripping and falling and I missed a tackle or something like that. But now I play the game and it's just, okay, he's over there, I'm gonna go that direction. It's more second nature to me.
So, but you're a young cat. So for me, it didn't become second nature, quote unquote, till I was my second game as a junior in college. Is when I really started understanding, I see why he's standing there, so I have to be here. This makes sense. I'll be there in a second. Those things started happening. When I was in high school, and I had some good coaches, but when I was in high school, I was running off of aggression and what I thought was ability. You know what I mean? And then I brought that into college, and it was crystal clear that I was behind in my skill level as a freshman. And so I played a little bit of catch up after that. It sounds like you're bypassing that, or you're getting through that at an earlier stage. Does that come from your playing experience, or does that come from your practicing those little things to get to play at a higher level?
Well, I don't think that necessarily it comes from actually like playing experience, because playing experience, I'm nowhere near the playing time as my practice time.
Oh, okay.
So my practice time is insane, as it should be for most people, if you're gonna be good at something that you do. So it's definitely more my practice time. And I think it's a little bit of my maturity and understanding that I don't have to rush things. I can calm down about things, and I don't have to force things.
You have said that you understand quite a bit. Like, you've used the word understanding quite a bit. Do you think that is the reason the game slows down for you, or do you think it's because you've seen it? Is it remembering, or is it remembering through repetition, or understanding through practice that is helping you along this journey? Because I mean, I was great at spelling bees, but I could also remember how to spell the words. You know what I mean?
Well, I am not good at spelling bees, and I'm not good at spelling the words. But I think it's definitely not remembering. It's because you don't know when you go to a game, it's never going to be the same play. It's definitely being able to solve the puzzle, if that makes sense.
Explain.
So, like, when you solve a Rubik's Cube, there's so many different ways that the Rubik's Cube can be mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be able to adapt to those different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I see the game of football. I have to be able to adapt these different plays and these different playing styles.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be able to understand why I do the things that I do and be able to put them into those game situations.
So when did you go from just running the play call to what you just said?
Definitely this summer. All of sophomore year, it was running the play call because I was the new guy on varsity. Didn't want to mess up. I just wanted to make it seem like I fit there, and that's where I needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But this summer, I realized that I'm the guy, and I need to show it. I need to be that guy that can adapt and do different things, like when they move me to outside linebacker on certain plays, or I switch sides of the field at safety, or when someone's not on their man at corner, so I have to run down real quick and play corner for a play or two. Just things like that.
I got you. So, wow. So at this point, you have an understanding of how to play the game. What's your favorite subject? What's your favorite subject in school?
Definitely math. Definitely.
Do you take your understanding of math and angles and all that other good stuff to the field, or why do you even like math, and what kind of math are you liking?
Well, right now I'm in pre-cal, and I'm really liking it. And I think that I like math because it's kind of like a big puzzle, and if you solve the puzzle right, you get the right answer. I also like physics because it's pretty similar to that because it brings logic into your puzzle solving. So I definitely feel like I bring the knowledge that I learn and the way that I learn in the math classroom or the physics classroom into onto the field, but not necessarily like bring the angles or the numbers. Maybe I bring some of the angles, like direction I run at someone, or the angle I take at a person, but not necessarily like specific angles or specific numbers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so more about the concept than it is about, trying to more about how you solve the problem than solving the problem itself. So that makes sense. So I want you to do me a favor, because you've said a lot of things about understanding and little things and concepts and you're talking about playing safety. So I want you to, how do you define hard work? Like when you're working hard, define that. Define that for me. Is it a physical thing, or just doing extra stuff to see what you can get and maxing your body out? Like, define hard work for me as far as it pertains to
I think hard work is not necessarily maxing your body out to the limit, because you can max your body out to the limit and then not do it the next day. And you could be like, well, I worked hard yesterday. Well, I don't think you worked hard yesterday, because I feel, to me, working hard is you have to be consistent with it. It's getting consistent work in that affects you, that changes the way that you are able to do things, enhances you as a person.
So the hard work is more about having an understanding of what it'll take to get things done than not necessarily just going through trying to get things done. Okay. So how often do you do ridiculous things that get you in trouble?
3 times a year.
So so less than once a quarter. So in those moments, and I'm going somewhere with this, in those moments, most of that was reactive, when you do things and you're mostly not responding, you're just acting on how you feel. Okay. So we've talked about, depression or, adjustments and what you did as a team to get to a certain status or a certain feeling. But at what point do your feelings take hold in these situations of order and structure and to eliminate chaos or danger or thought or things of that nature that we're experiencing right now? Like, at what point do you get tired of walking on the same side of the hallway every day wearing that mask? At what point do you get tired of it? And then what's your response or reaction to it?
Well, so I think that there are 3 stages of like doing something repeatedly. So the first stage to me is, oh, this is cool, I'm doing this. Like excited.
Excitement, yeah.
And then the second stage is definitely, man, am I really still doing this? How much longer?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's kind of like running. Like when your coach tells you run a mile, first lap, okay, that wasn't bad. Second lap was, oh man. And then the third and fourth lap, it was, I'm kind of feeling okay with this. I like this. This is,
You get
you're
settling in. Yeah.
Kind of on a runner's high. So there's definitely a point where like the mask to me, like it used to be annoying, but now it's comfortable. So it's like I'm walking towards the school. I don't have my mask. I'm like, I need my mask. I can't go in there without it. And I mean, like, it's not an issue for me anymore. It's more like it's part of me now, especially like working out or going to run track is a part of my routine. I feel like you have to make things part of your routine so that it stops becoming annoying.
And that is even if that is when you're trying to make an adjustment that is for the majority or for common ground or for the betterment of what you're trying to get accomplished. But first you have to recognize it. So when did you recognize as a young man that you were good enough to be a starter? You were good enough to be all district. You were good enough to try to compete at a high level for a scholarship. At some point, you have to recognize it, whether somebody shows it to you or you see it on your own. It's evident you're extremely mature. So there had to be a point when you're like, man, I might be able to do this. When was that?
Well, so definitely my whole life I've always been like, yeah, there's a chance. 100% this year is when all of those things kind of clicked and they all kind of fell in line. It's like, I just got to keep up what I've been doing my whole life, and it'll get me where I want to be. So definitely this year.
So the college thing for you, I'm going to ask you a few tough questions.
Okay.
We're here with Ben Roberts. We're talking about him going into his senior season after an amazing junior season and setting a whole bunch of records for Eaton High School in the Northwest ISD district. Ms. P, you got anything online for my man before I start asking these hard questions?
Well, you do have Miller McCumbry.
Yeah, Miller.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Miller. Congrats on those offers that you're getting, young man.
Yeah, so he's watching right now, and that's it so far.
Awesome.
All right.
So I got a question for you, brother. So you think you're good enough to perform in college, and you this year 100% you see that you have a chance to do so. So is playing in college no longer a goal, but is it an expectation?
Definitely now an expectation. Well, if you really think about it, it's I don't have all of the knowledge about it, so I don't know if I could call it an expectation. It's definitely very close to an expectation.
Explain.
So, like, it's been a goal up till this year.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, I feel like, so there's got to be a transition between two things. And so I feel like I'm on the upper half of the transition from goal to expectation, if that makes sense.
Well, let me try to make this make sense. So you're saying that you're starting to learn enough to understand which way to go, so you don't have to hope you get there. You kind of know what direction to go to get there.
Exactly.
So you expect, it's almost like when you get in the car, you expect to make it to your destination. when you get in the car and you see you don't have much gas, it's a goal that you get to the gas station. Is that basically what you're saying?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going back to this understanding thing that you're talking about. So it is now becoming a standard, which means you have to set a goal now, because the standard or the base sets the steps for the goal. And that's what I honestly, for me to chime in, I think that's if athletes took that approach and parents took that approach, you know, I want to play college ball. If we made that the standard and we learned everything we needed to do about getting a scholarship to play that, then the goal becomes a scholarship, and now we can learn how to play ball and get a scholarship, if that makes sense. But if playing ball is the goal, you spend so much time wondering if you're good enough, and then when you're good enough, you don't really know what the next thing is to do. What if we told you where you were right off the ramp, almost like school assessment test, and then we set the scholarship as the goal? It sounds like that's the direction you're going.
Exactly.
So with that, what is the new goal?
The new goal. Can you elaborate on that?
So at first, playing college ball was the goal. So the standard was make good grades and then graduate and all. Well, if playing ball is the standard, then you have to, those are just prerequisites. Do you want to graduate? Do you want to get, like, what's the goal now? You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. So definitely the goal now is to get as many people to see me as possible. And then, I guess, so that's one of the goals. Other goals, be able to talk to the people that see me, be able to communicate with them and understand how they feel about what they saw in me. And then the next goal is to collect as many offers as possible.
There you go, because now you set a standard of playing college, so now you want to see the goal is where. That makes sense. So now you put a plan together. So now we got to get the grades in order. So what are the steps that you know you need to take in order for you to have the best opportunity to pick a school or for a school to pick you?
Keep doing what I'm doing on the field, and in the classroom. Keep my grades where they're at. I can improve them a little bit, and then definitely time management. I could definitely work a little bit on time management. I feel like everybody can, though.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
Like not procrastinating on assignments, being able to stretch out assignments and so that I don't have to cram everything in on a Sunday night,
right? So
that I can get it turned in.
Do you know what it takes to qualify to even set the standard to play college ball?
I don't know what I think it's a 2.7, something like that.
But you know a
GPA.
Yeah, okay.
And I understand that I've got a 3.5, and I can keep that. I can keep it where it is.
Okay. Have you taken any other tests, your ACT, SAT?
I've taken my SAT, and I'm going to take my ACT this Saturday. And
you've already registered for the eligibility center. So you know you're a qualifier.
Definitely.
And you already have all your highlight stuff in your, so you basically are putting in place the steps. So once you get to the standard, the goal is where you're trying to get to. The better the grades, the better the film, the better the this, the better the offer. So the offer is the goal right now. Makes sense to me because the standard is already set. What do you see coming up for your squad in this upcoming season? What kind of goals or standards have you set for yourself on the field and off the field going into your senior year?
Well, so first off, on the team standpoint, I want to go at least 3 rounds deep again.
Yeah.
Because I want to set more history. I want to make more history.
You think you can do it?
Definitely.
You think y'all can do it?
I think we can do it.
Y'all got a lot of good guys coming back?
I think we have a lot of good guys coming back, but I think we're going to have to work harder than we did last year to do it. Because it's a new group.
Yeah.
And build those relationships. And then goals for me personally on the field would definitely have more tackles. So over 100 tackles. Break the school record in picks, which is 5 picks. I had 4 last year.
All right. I saw you drop 2, but continue.
Did not drop 2.
You know, you could have had 6, but go.
And then, so if I do that, I'll have what's that called? When you 2 seasons of stats, career. I'll have the career picks record if I do that, and then I definitely want to have a pick 6. I got really close. But we'll not talk about that.
Hey, you brought it up, so I'm just saying, like, I wasn't going to say anything. But Miss P, let me tell you what happened. So the young man catches one. He's going the opposite side. You know, it's perfect throw right in his hands. You a Cowboy fan. You remember when Larry Brown, when the Steelers quarterback threw Larry Brown the pick, and then he took it back in the end zone, and he was MVP for the Super Bowl those years. B ain't got one of them. You know, it was that kind of. So he's running by himself. And run past a few folks, and an old lineman grabs him by the chest, buries him into the side. No, he couldn't juke old lineman. He had one man to beat. Old lineman slammed him down on the ground. So it's like a 67-yard return. 13 more yards to touchdown, but whatever. I don't know what happened to that. But the young man is an amazing football player, and as you guys can see, extremely mature, tremendous to converse with. So we know the goal, we know the standard. What would you leave for our young audience or young aspiring football players, the cats out there trying to get scholarships right now who are playing against you, have played against you, or have played with you, and they're trying to understand that next step or how to set that next standard or how to up their level of play? What would you say to them?
It's just be consistent in everything that you do, and then learn the positions around you, learn what your opponent is doing, and learn what you need to do that will surprise your opponent, or if you're a receiver, get you open against the opponent, or if you're a DB, break on a route faster against your opponent.
Right on. Miss P, you got anything?
Grandma Carol
Love it.
says, Greg, don't you pick on my Ben.
Till I said, yes, ma'am.
And then she says, that's Grandma's young man. She's very proud of the person you are, Ben Roberts.
Thank you, Grandma.
So she's proud of you.
Awesome. Well, we are going to leave you guys with today. Look, I want everybody to have an understanding that this game is fantastic. So before we leave, Ben, what is one lesson that the game has taught you that you have brought off the field into your life?
Definitely slow down, take a step back, and understand what you're about to put yourself through, and understand who you're about to do it with.
Why is that important?
Because on the field, you need to understand, hey, I can't just rush into this and be like, all right, I'm the star. It's what's my role? What do I need to do for the team the best? Like be the best at on the team for my position. Or maybe I'm just a kickoff guy. How am I going to be the best at that? So take a step back and learn how to do those things. And then in life, to me, life can get overwhelming, definitely. And to me, it's take a step back, maybe go for a drive, think about it for a little bit. Don't just start stumbling through something. Like you've got a test coming up and you've been working, your brain's tired. You can keep studying, or you can take a step back, relax, and then step into it.
I wish somebody would have told me that 2 days ago, because I would have avoided quite a few problems. But hey, that is fantastic advice. It really is, man. That is fantastic advice. I'm going to have to record that and put that in my ear tomorrow. Hey, we are going to leave you guys. As a matter of fact, we're going to leave you guys 10 minutes early. We're going to let Ben get home, and he is here with his amazing mom and my big sister, Carrie, back there in the corner. I told her we weren't going to put her on the show, but we were definitely going to shout her out. And we are going to say peace to all you guys, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much, Mr. Roberts.
No problem.
of Beyond the North.